Wow. So another minute and we will start. Just giving some time for some of our friends to join us. Hi, Renu. So it's 4 o'clock, and so we like to get started on time. So good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome. So I am Sukirti Gupta, co-founder of Sipping Thoughts, your host for today's session on Move from the Negative to the Positive with Aparna Jain. So Aparna is with us, and I'm so kind of her to do this session with us. But like me, have you ever wondered why some people attract all the good things in life while some of us face numerous roadblocks? I often do. So sometimes it comes in the back of my head. So I'm often wondering, do other people also think like this? But hopefully, by the end of this webinar, you will get an insight into how you have the power within you to move your life from the negative to the positive. And in this webinar, Pooja will be giving us tools and we will engage at the end in mirror work to help us move from the negative to the positive. We will also open the webinar for questions that you may have. We will also be keeping it very, very interactive as we go along to kind of get your feedback all throughout the way. A little bit about Sipping Thoughts. Sipping Thoughts is a multi platform media company that was set up keeping in mind the tagline Real Women, Real Thoughts. We are a no judgment platform and want to create a network of women for women. We're available on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course, please do check us out on our website. And now, the person you've been waiting for, Aparna. So let me actually formally introduce her. It's my pleasure. So Aparna Jain is the founder of the Banyan Tree, which is a boutique consulting firm that specializes in leadership and individual development. She's an internationally certified leadership and life coach and a trainer of the Heal Your Life workshops by the Heart Inspired USA. She's a master practitioner in NLP, an EMDR practitioner, and a certified practitioner in core transformation. She was actually formally educated in management. Aparna then has trained in various healing modalities like Bach flower remedies, Gestalt, TA, T group, sound therapy, pranic healing, and of course, mindfulness. She focuses on helping young adults and gifted children deal with their anxieties and fears and inspires people to find out and accept their true self so that they can unleash their full potential. So, welcome, Aparna, to Sipping Thoughts. But before I hand over the reins to you, I just want to go over some do's and don'ts, some house rules. Everyone is on mute just so that we can avoid any background noise. But please keep chatting with us and sending us your questions. We like to understand and engage so that we can also see how the webinar is going. You can also raise your hand using the Zoom feature if you're familiar with it. We will unmute you because we would like you to ask your question yourself, but you may be muted on your side. So when we send you the request, please do accept it. But please keep your questions to the point and to the topic. And last but not least, as we always say, please do forgive us for any technology glitches. And with that, Aparna, welcome to Sipping Thoughts and take it away. I know everyone is waiting for you to get started.
Thank you, Sukirti. Thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you, Sipping Thoughts, for giving me this platform to actually share the work that I do. I passionately believe in it and I'd like to share it with whoever I can actually and whoever is interested. And welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. You know, the very fact that you have chosen to attend this webinar means that you have taken that first step to move yourself from negative to positive. So that's a very big step. So congratulations and welcome to all of you. Yeah. And I believe more in doing things rather than just talking. So what I would like to do is probably lead you through an awareness exercise, a sort of a visualization, where you can come to know more about yourself. So first, let us find out more about ourselves. So if you can close your eyes, I'll just put on some music for you to help you sort of just get into the space. So just close your eyes. Sit in a relaxed fashion, and you can, just rotate your shoulders, rotate your neck. Just relax your body. Just let go. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just let go of any negative thoughts that may be there in your mind. Take in another deep breath. And as you breathe out, just let go of any negative emotions that you may be carrying. And take another deep breath. And just let go of any disturbances anywhere in the body, mind, or emotions that you may be having. Sit in a relaxed manner. And imagine that you are at home, waking up on a typical day. Just woken up. What are your typical thoughts? Are you grateful to be alive and excited about your day? Are you neutral? Or are you dreading getting up? Now become aware of your thoughts as you get ready for your day. You could be getting ready for work or any other activity. What are you thinking? Just notice your thoughts. See yourself getting dressed, then seeing yourself in the mirror. How do you react? What kind of thoughts do you have as you are going to work or to other activities? You could be just going to the next room or getting in your car and driving to work. What are you thinking? How do you react as you see your co-workers and your boss? Are you judging them? Or do you know that they are doing the best they can? What are you thinking about yourself? When you go to lunch, are you worried about the calories? Or do you feel good about choosing healthy food? Become aware of your typical thoughts as you continue through your day. thinking. Then you go back home or to any other evening activity. Just notice what is going on in your mind. What are you thinking? Then you are getting ready to wind up the day and go to bed. What are your usual last thoughts as you prepare for bed and go to sleep? You think back over the day. Perhaps you are aware of the places where you could change your thoughts. So tell yourself right now, I approve of myself and I easily choose the thoughts that nourish me. Imagine looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. I really, really love you. And now take a few deep breaths. Stretch and gently bring your awareness back to this room. Open your eyes. So what kind of thoughts were you aware of? You could type in the chat box. What were the thoughts that you had? Were they positive thoughts? Mostly negative? Or mostly neutral? Most of the people, Kanchan has nice positive thoughts. Vandana says it was mixed, positive and negative both. Shilpa says positive thoughts. It was mixed. Jyotsna says that. Mostly negative thoughts. Mostly neutral from Priya. Yeah, it makes us aware and gives us solitude. Mostly positive, neutral, mixed, negative. So you were a lot wavery, Dr. Sharda says. So if you see, there are a mixture of thoughts that we have in the day. It's never just positive or just negative. It's a mix of positive and negative. And that is how we create our reality. That is how we actually create our destiny and what we experience through the day. So it's been researched and found out, and Dr. Deepak Chopra has also said this, that there are about 60 to 90,000 thoughts that an average person thinks through the day. And how many would you say would be negative? So you could type in the chat box, how many do you think would be negative out of those 60 to 90,000 thoughts that an average person thinks through the day? So 50%, Sukirti says 50%, 66%, 70% negative. Shilpa says 500, which is just a bit 50. Those are also just a fraction. Konark says 90%. More a negative, Ruchi says. Yeah, and that's true. Actually, most of them are negative. About 70 to 90% of them are negative for an average person. And when we are thinking those negative thoughts, how are you feeling in the body? What is the kind of, what is the sense that you have in the body, or what are the feelings that you are getting in the body? Anxious, stressful, yes, Shilpa said. Pull down, yeah, there is stress and there is pain and there is tightness in the body, there's weakness, there is heaviness. Angry, stressed, stiffness, stress, constricted, yes. So we do feel very constricted and tight and angry and stressed out. If we are feeling like this, like, constricted and stressed and angry, what kind of vibration do you think we are sending out in the world? Yeah, so negative vibration. If you meet somebody who's like this, what kind of response would you give to that person? Some people say that, yeah, Brahma says at that time one may feel empowered. Yeah, I may feel empowered that, okay, I'm like this. But how is the other person in front of me perceiving me? If you encounter someone who's like this, who's constricted and angry, how do you want to react to that person? You want to ignore. Vijayan says, I will embrace. That's really nice of you. And Brahma says, feels victimized. Monica says, I'll stay away. Sukirti says, I'll stay away. Monica says, I feel scared. Rajiv says, I want to avoid. Yeah, normally you'd like to avoid, or you would like to maintain a distance. And you consider another person who's really welcoming you with open arms, who's thinking very positively about you, who's giving a very pleasant countenance to you, smiling. How would you like to respond to that person? You would like to go towards her. Brahma says people want to avoid negative people. And Shabana says you want to smile back, cheerful. So you see how my thought and my behavior is actually creating my reality. If I'm smiling, I'll get a smile back. If I'm frowning, if I'm angry, I'll probably get anger and space and distance and the same kind of behavior. So our thoughts are creating our feelings, and that is creating a reality. The universe doesn't understand the language of English or Hindi or French or German. It only understands the frequency of vibration. So however we are feeling, we are sending out a vibration into the universe. We are vibrating at a certain frequency. And whatever is commensurate to that frequency, which is resonating at the same frequency, will come into our reality. If something is not resonating if we are resonating at the frequency of love, normally people will come and love us and will be nice to us. If we are resonating at a frequency of hatred, then normally we will not have nice experiences for us. How many of you have actually seen this happen? That if you are in a certain mood, you get pleasant experiences. If you're angry, then you have not so pleasant experiences. Yeah, Richa says I experience it. Jyotsna says yes. Sukirti says yes. So actually our thoughts are creating a reality. And it plays out in the form of, I may think, I may have been scolded as a child, or whenever my parents may have so where do these thoughts come from? They come from our past experiences. For example, if I was scolded as a child and my mother sort of ignored me, and when I go to work, And one day my boss just walks past me, not greeting me. I may immediately feel scared. Oh, I must have done something wrong. My boss has ignored me. There is some problem with me. And then whatever response I used to give when I was a child, I will give that kind of response to my boss. Either I will fight with my boss, or I will sort of try to overplease the boss, or the next time the boss calls me for a report, I may just freeze, not knowing what to do. So it's actually a response that I learned in childhood. And for all you know, the boss may have just walked past because his boss has scolded him, or he was preoccupied, or he didn't even see me. Now, if you think of that, then how does your response change in this moment? So you could type in the chat box, how would your response change? You might feel silly about your thought. Yes. And if you thought that the boss was having a bad day and the boss didn't even notice me, then would you want to sort of fight with the boss, or overplease the boss, or just freeze when the boss asks you a question? Yeah, most probably not. So it's a question of, there was some sort of embedding about beliefs and thoughts when we were children from our past experiences. But that was when we were very young. Imagine running a computer on Windows 1 right now. So that's the software that we are running on right now. So you need to upgrade the software. So some of the beliefs may not actually be working for us any longer. We need to change those beliefs based on what the reality is currently. And then some of the thoughts or beliefs may come from the fact that some elders must have told us something about life in general. So they would have said that, okay, if you work hard can you succeed, or only if you achieve something then you can think you are good enough. Now I've actually spent my whole lifetime trying to achieve something so that I can feel good enough. But even when I achieve that something, then I find that it's only a temporary high. I still don't feel good enough. Deep down, I still have that very strong feeling that I'm not good enough. So Louise Hay was a metaphysical teacher, and she passed on some 3 years ago at the ripe age of 90. She wrote a book called You Can Heal Your Life, in which she actually created the link between thoughts and the reality. And she said that the thoughts and your feelings initially come in the form of thought. If you leave it untreated over there, it comes in the emotions or the emotion body. If you leave it untreated over there, it will come into the physical body and form diseases. So most of the diseases, 99% of the diseases, the actual source of that disease is the emotion that we are having, which is either fear or guilt or anger or resentment. So if you let go of that, then the disease can go away. And she actually wrote affirmations for each disease. And if you actually practice those affirmations, then it can help greatly in terms of relieving you of that disease. And there have been instances, we were doing a workshop. There is a 2-day workshop which Louise Hay actually runs or created. And there are teachers worldwide who run that workshop. And in one of the workshops, we were doing some release work, and one of the participants developed a small pain in the back. And she was doing these affirmations. So then I asked her to do it in the mirror. And within 5 minutes, the pain went away. So that is the power of affirmations. So what happens, as you saw, like when you go through your day, if there are mostly negative thoughts that are coming, then those thoughts are creating your reality. And if there are positive thoughts that are coming, then those thoughts that are creating your reality. Now, what happens is when I'm thinking a negative thought, in my brain, there is a neuron which sort of fires. And there are multiple neurons in front which can catch that signal. For example, there is a positive neuron and a negative neuron. Now, if that boss comes and I fire a neuron saying that, okay, my boss has ignored me. Now, if I'm in the habit of thinking negative, the neuron which will catch that signal is the one which will say that, okay, that means your boss is angry with you, and so on and so forth. A whole route has been mapped out for me, which leads me to, okay, my boss doesn't like me at all, and I should probably leave the company. Whereas there was another possibility that existed, where another positive neuron could have got that signal and could have said that, okay, maybe the boss had a bad day and it has nothing to do with me. And then the possibility would have been different. Then there could have been a positive highway that I could have traveled on. So those two options always exist with me in any given situation. In any given situation, they will be positive and they will be negative. What I choose to focus on will create the highway in my brain. And once that highway is created, I can just fly past on that highway very quickly. And that is the reality that will get created for me. So which highway do you want to create for yourself? The negative one or the positive one? Positive, yeah. Shilpa says positive. Vandana says positive. Ruchi says positive. Easy question. Sukriti says, yeah. Yeah, it is easy. Wouldn't we all want to do that? Then why are we not able to do it? Wouldn't we all want a positive life? Then what stops us? That's because it's embedded in our brain. That highway has now become like a permanent structure in our brain. So for example, if you were going in the woods and you had to cut the wood, then for the first time you had to pave the way over there. You probably have to cut the trees, and it would be very hard work. You will have to clear the undergrowth, you will have to cut some trees, you will have to make way. To even make 50 meters worth of progress, it will probably take you the whole day. But slowly, as you work through your path, you build a small pagdandi, a small path. And then if you keep walking on it again and again and again, then slowly that path widens and it widens further and slowly it becomes a highway. So we've been thinking these negative thoughts for so long. Unconsciously, we've been thinking that. And as I said, about 60 to 90,000 thoughts. Out of that, if we are thinking about 90,000 thoughts, about 60 to 70,000 thoughts of those are negative thoughts that I'm thinking through the day. It's a miracle that something positive is happening in my life. Those positive thoughts must be really powerful for me. So to counter that, I will have to practice thinking these positive thoughts constantly, such that that positive highway can start to form. And once I start to travel on that positive highway regularly, then slowly, like any path that you don't use, falls into disrepair and fades away, the negative highway sort of starts to fade away. So Lewis actually gave us two very good tools as to how to convert our negative thoughts into positive thoughts, such that they can be seeded into the unconscious. If you try to do it consciously, it will take a very long time and it will be very hard work because the negative thought patterns are unconscious in your mind. So the first thing she said was affirmations. Now, what are affirmations? Affirmations are basically statements that are personal, they are positive, and they are in the present tense. So Lewis also said that the deepest thought, which was common across humanity, 99.9% of the people were thinking that thought was, I am not good enough. So this thought is negative because it has not in it. It is pertaining to me because it is starting with an I, but it is a negative thought. To counter that, if we were to think, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Well, God has made me this way. I'm not there to question the creation of God. He must have thought of something to create me in this way and probably thought this was the best version of me. Then what makes me think that I am not good enough? For whom or for what? So instead of that, if I think I love and accept myself exactly as and you can type in the chat box.
We lost you for a bit. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, okay. Now, if you can just say to yourself, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. How does that make you feel? Complete, powerful, at peace, but yes, it is temporary, satisfied. It feels sometimes like a put on, and yes, it will, because initially I'm not used to. There is another voice in my head saying that no, but you're not good enough. You're really not good enough. So Louise said that just thinking this thought is not, it's going to take a very, very long time. So what she suggested was mirror work. So if you have a mirror in front of you, then you could just pick up a mirror or look into your mobile screen or mobile camera. And the key is to look in your eyes. You could even look in the screen over here if you can see your eyes, but it is critical to look in your eyes because the eyes are windows to the soul. So just look into your eyes. And as you pick up the mirror, just say, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Just notice whatever comes up. And initially a voice will come up, no, you're lying. For some of us. For some of us, it may be easy. Yeah, Anupam, it's a heart-shaped mirror. Louise talked about the hearts. It's all heart work. So just look into your eyes. And again say, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. And just notice how you feel. What comes up for you? Has it become just a little bit easier? Just allow whatever comes up to come up and just pass. Let it just pass. Just watch it. And this time, say, I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And just notice what comes up for you. Is there any voice? How are you feeling in the body? Is it easier to accept it this time? And just type in the chat box. When was it? Is it easy for you or difficult for you? If you added the word, I am willing to love and accept myself, was it easier for you? Easy. Yeah. Cool. Relaxed. Was it easier? Little bit easier. So was it easier if again say it? Just pick up the mirror again and again say, I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. Is it becoming a little bit more easier now? Or it feels like acting? Yeah. It does feel like acting sometimes initially because we are actually sort of cutting the trees over here. So the idea is to fake it till you make it. So keep saying it again and again, or keep adding the word willing. That I am willing to believe, or I'm willing to be willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. you would notice the moment you add willing, it becomes a little bit easier. Or if you keep doing it, just keep doing it. Say again, say it some 5 times. I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And just wait, just keep watching your eyes. Just let whatever voices come up, and let them go. And once they're done, again say, I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And just watch again. And then again say, I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And again, just allow whatever comes up, whatever voices, negative messages that are coming up, just allow them to come and go. Again say, I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. Again, just allow any negative messages to come up and pass. Again say, I am willing to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And again, just allow the negative messages to come up and pass. And you can keep your mirror down. How do you feel now after saying it 5 times? Relaxed, emotional, more powerful, more intense, better, confident, your helps, a new me, yeah, calm and composed. Did it become a little easier? You feel it in the body? Much better, relaxed. So imagine just saying it 5 times in the mirror has made such a difference to our body. If we were to say it constantly on a regular basis, how much of a difference will it make to us? And that's how we can actually change our negative thinking to positive thinking. And once that negative thinking starts to fade away, the positive thinking takes root, then you will start to see changes happening in your life. I mean, you may have heard stories of some people being really lucky. And there was this friend of ours, we'd gone for a vacation and there was a contest announced. And the organizers said, if somebody, we are going to do a lucky draw and someone is going to win this prize, a holiday for 2 somewhere. And he immediately said, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm very lucky. And who do you think won that prize? A friend. So that is what happens with positive thinking. That is how reality is created. And you will start to see those changes in your own life once you practice this. So I would strongly encourage you to do the mirror work. Just looking into your eyes. Mirror is something that we encounter every day. Whenever we brush our teeth, we comb our hair, we do see the mirror at least once a day. All you have to do is just say, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. At least that. Or whatever negative thoughts that come to you. Sometimes you may have a belief that I am not safe or I am not healthy. You can convert it into the positive and say it in the mirror. Make your own affirmations. Say them in the mirror. And slowly you will start to pave the way for a positive thinking and positive reality for yourself. thank you so much. And we could open the house to questions, Sukirti.
I'm going to start you up with the first question. So, they say that negative thoughts actually are 3 times more powerful than positive ones. So, I don't know, I read that somewhere. So, if you're saying that we have 60,000 negative thoughts that has the power of 180,000 thoughts or positive ones, because you need a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 4 ratio to kind of overcome it. Is that true? Or is this?
It's not the thought that has power, whether it is not the negative or the positive thought that has power. It is with how much alignment it has been thought. When I say alignment, what I mean is the thought and how much I believe in it, how much emotion I have attached to it. If I have too much emotion attached to that negative thought, then that becomes powerful, because that is the vibration I'm sending out, and I'm sending it out far and wide. On the contrary, if I have a positive thought in which I have very strong belief and I have very strong emotions attached to it, even that could be very powerful, and it could actually counter a lot of negative thoughts. I mean, come to think of it, our positive thoughts must be much more powerful, because if we are thinking 60 to 90,000 thoughts in a day, and still something positive is happening in our life, or rather mostly positive things are happening in our life, then our thoughts which are positive.
Sorry, we lost you for a little bit. If you could repeat the end part.
Yeah. So I said that, if we are thinking 60 to 90,000 thoughts in a day, and only a small fraction of them are positive, then if I am having a reality which is mostly positive, which is true, right? Most of us have a house, we are living in a place where we are secure, we are getting food to eat, we are having family around us and friends around us. Most of the days there's nothing untoward which is happening to us. So there is a positive reality which is getting created. And if only 20,000 thoughts are creating that positive reality, then that positive thought that I have may actually be more powerful than the negative thought. But because I am so focused on the negative thought, that is why it seems that the negative thought is more powerful, because the other positive thought I'm taking for granted.
Fantastic. So I think we will start to take some questions. So the first one I would like to take from Dr. Bhumi Patel. I am asking you to unmute. Dr. Bhumi Patel, go ahead.
Good evening, madam. I want to ask how to avoid the situations that is negative in the family, how to deal with the negative and stubborn people in our family, which create the negative environment in the family.
Yeah, good evening, Bhumi. Thank you for your question. It's an excellent question. We all have families, and we all have both positivity and negativity in families. Like I myself have maybe giving out both positivity and negativity within my family. So if there are negative people in the family, what I would encourage you to do is look at the positives in them. So take a piece of paper and at least 3 or 4 or 10 positives about that person. And just keep thinking about the positives. Slowly you will find that you are no longer seeing the negativity, or it has reduced considerably. And slowly the person who's negative may also start to respond to you in a positive manner. So to highlight this, I will share an example. So we were traveling, and my husband and I and a group of friends were traveling to a place, and we were doing a homestay in a remote valley. There was only one homestay, and this person who was running the homestay was an old lady, probably overworked and maybe bitter. So she was she reacted very bitterly to everything. She would have a tone which was very critical about everything and almost caustic. And all of us were not reacting or saying anything, but we felt that. And now my husband is very positive. So he kept saying, "Oh, this auntie is so nice. She cooks so well. She's serving everything to me with so much love." And I'm looking at him, where is he getting this impression? We are not seeing it, and it's not just me. Everybody in the group is not seeing it. But then he kept saying it. And slowly the auntie started actually serving him with a lot of love. Her tone would actually change with her. She started actually becoming loving towards him. So you may find that when you actually look for the negatives, for the positives in the person's behavior may change because you will be sending out those vibrations to that person.
We'll take the next question from Richa. Richa, go ahead.
Hi, Aparna. Hi, Sukirti. Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Hi, Richa.
Okay, my question is, Aparna, I write these affirmations every day for maybe a month or so. They seem to help me. I feel positive for a bit after I've written them, but not throughout the day or not as long as I would like to feel that positive. So what can I do about it? Thanks.
So Richa, do you do them in the mirror?
No, I don't.
Okay.
These are written, I have a journal that I write.
Yeah, sure. So doing it in the mirror makes it really positive. What ratio is that if you think it 300 times in your mind versus if you say it 3 times in the mirror, it is one and the same. And the reason is that when you look in the mirror and you look in your eyes, you're actually talking to your soul. So it's going deep within you and embedding over there. So what I would suggest is if you can do those affirmations looking at yourself in the mirror like we just did, that will definitely have a much deeper impact for you.
Great, thanks a lot.
We'll take the next question from Pankuri.
Yeah. Hi, Aparna. Thanks for the wonderful session. So my question is on once when we say into the mirror that I accept myself, completely, would it, hamper our self-reflection and self-improvement, or is a way to, do it together?
I am not very clear about what you mean when you say self-reflection.
Like when I'm completely accepting myself, would I try to miss out my flaws because I'm accepting probably somewhere I'm doing some mistakes. But since I accept myself, I accept it and I try to overlook it. So that is what I'm trying to ask.
Sure. So when I say, first of all, when I say love and accept myself, it is not really to have a swollen head or from a place of vanity. When you have that vanity, you're actually not accepting yourself. And if you are looking at your flaws, if you look at corrective action that you take, when it's easier to take corrective action, when somebody is supporting you or when somebody is beating you up?
Okay, when somebody is supporting. Yeah.
So when you are loving yourself, you will automatically want to actually correct yourself and make a better version of yourself. It will just become so much effortless for you to do that. You would want to do that rather than you would want to, to just have to do it, that I have to do it versus I really want to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Aparna.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm asking Sanjeev, Josna, and Rajiv if they can unmute themselves. They all have their hand raised, and so does Manoj. So if you could unmute yourself, I have sent you So Rajiv, go ahead. Sorry. Sanjeev.
Hello. Yeah, hello. Thank you so much, Aparna ma'am. I have learned a few tips from you today, and this was my purpose because actually I am MBHR, but I have treated my father's cancer last stage at 76 age, 4 years back, naturally and Ayurveda. And one of my parameter out of 10 parameters to treat cancer is the patient should be absolute thoughts, positive vibration, positive surroundings, and energy should be eliminated. So this actually, I have got a very good point from one of Louise Hay. She treated her own cancer through the positive thoughts. It is the biggest intake which I have got from your session. I am really thankful to you because your session will be for so other patients, which will be helping me to reverse. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you for doing that for your father and developing him with positivity.
Yeah. And I'm doing same for the whole India actually right now.
Great, wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, actually, I just want to ask you one question that how can a person overcome his or her fear? A fear can be of anything, a fear of losing someone, or maybe of death, or maybe of having some medical issue in the future, or anything else, or according to the scenario of this corona or anything else. How can a person can overcome his or her fear?
Yeah. So when you are feeling scared, what are you thinking? What is the thought going on in your mind?
That something bad will happen with me in the future or with my family or my loved ones like this.
Yeah, that something bad may happen to me
Yeah, yeah,
with my loved ones. Now,
yeah.
what is the positive that you would like to think in its place?
That everything is good and everything is fine. We are blessed by God.
Exactly. So just think that that is already happening with you in the present.
Yeah.
You can build that affirmation. If you had to build an affirmation for it, what would be the affirmation for it? Which is positive, personal, and in the present tense.
Positive.
Yeah. So what is the statement that you would like to say to yourself?
I'm a strong, powerful, positive soul.
I'm a strong, powerful, and positive soul, and everything good is happening for me. Say. So
Yeah.
just repeat that in the mirror for yourself.
For the time being, it becomes okay.
Yeah.
After some time, when say something, a little bit of thing gets shaken from their place, then everything gets again the
Yeah.
same.
Sure. Yeah. So say it more often. Like I said, the negative thoughts are 60 to 90,000.
Yeah.
60 to 70,000. So
Okay.
you will have to counter that by saying it many, many more times.
Okay.
And what you could also do is you could actually visualize yourself and your family being completely safe.
Okay.
Visualization is even more powerful than just thinking those thoughts or doing mirror work.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Thank you, Krishna. We have a question from Nirmaka. Nirmaka, go ahead.
Rajiv.
Rajiv, I'll come to you next also.
Okay, sure.
Nirmaka, go ahead. Go ahead, Rajiv. I think.
Hi, Aparna. How are you?
Hi, Rajiv. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you after 30 long years.
Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah.
I'm regularly in touch with Mansi. She's doing fantabulous job. Good girl.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been a big fan of Louis Hay and Deepak Chopra, both of them. I've been doing this self-acceptance and self-approval, self-talk and mirror work also. And has done me a lot of good also. And I have cured many body pains with these Louis Hay's affirmation statements. So just a couple of statements that I would like to clarify with you. How do you control the emotions when something is not going as per your wish or has not happened for quite long? You have been doing all the positive affirmations, you have been working very, very hard, and things have not moved as per your expectations, like in family or in your business, and your mood goes down. The general disposition, the mood, the underlying currents. And whenever you do the affirmations, there is a little doubt or disbelief. इतने टाइम से नहीं हुआ आप कैसे होगा it's all so foolish, it does not yield you all that results that you would expect for yourself. So how do you deal with that? And something else goes wrong, the emotions are so powerful that they hack you completely. So however much positive affirmations you do, it sounds so useless when the emotions are very, very powerful and moods and the disposition, the sponsoring thoughts are there. So how do you cure that?
One is to flood, like just do a lot of the affirmations and do it regularly. So it, just doing a lot of it. If suppose there was a vessel full of dirt, if you had to actually remove that dirt, then you will need to pour in that much water, scrub so much to actually remove that dirt. So one is just flooding it with the positive affirmations. That's one thing that you could do. The other is when you look in the mirror and you say the positive affirmation, whatever doubt that is coming up, you just allow it to come up and watch it and let it pass. If you keep doing that, just allowing it and watching it and letting it pass, then slowly the doubt loses the power that it has. And it sort of, that path sort of goes away, that dirt sort of cleans up. And then it'll become easier. The third thing you can do is, if you really don't believe in that statement, like we added, I am willing to love and accept myself. So it's not true for me right now. It's completely false. I can't believe it. It like Sukirti said, it feels like acting. So just say, I am willing to do that. I am willing to consider it. I am willing to accept that possibility. Then that doubt sometimes loses its power, and then it is likely to happen. So those are some ways that you could do it.
So Nirmika, go ahead.
Hi, Aparna. Thanks, Sukirti. Aparna, I had a question. Like, if you're dealing with a person who keeps on talking negative or thinking negative, and how much ever you try to say, oh, but this went good with you, and they keep on saying, no, but that went bad with me, and it's always happened with me, and it's always happened with me. So how do you deal with a person like that, who could be in a friend circle or a family, and it sort of takes away your energy a lot when you're trying to deal with this person? So that was one question. And second thing was, trying to do this, like trying to be over positive, does it put off a person, the other person?
Yes, Nirmala, I can understand your situation, and yes, all this is done best by myself as the person who's doing it, and that's the best way to do it. You can't do it for somebody else. Now, having said that, some people actually may be in a habit of thinking negatively. It's just become such a deep habit for them that it is difficult for them to overcome it. First of all, just understanding that they are just victims of how they have been, and sort of dealing compassionately with them would help. That is the first thing. Second thing, don't try to change them. Just accept them the way they are and look for the positives within them. There are other ways. Thirdly, there are some other ways that you could help them. Some of them could be like Bach flower essences, which are flower essences, which are sort of like a dewdrop on the flower. So it just takes the vibration of the flower, and if you take it within you, you sort of start to vibrate at a higher vibration. So if you give it that to that person, then some of the negative thoughts will just fade away and positive thoughts will start to come up. So if a person is not willing or ready to do personal work for themselves, which is mirror work or affirmations, then sometimes these kind of remedies help it do it gently for them. But first and foremost thing is to understand that you can't change them. You really can't do anything. You can just work on yourself and maintain your positivity. Once you maintain your positivity, slowly people will start to change around you. And yes, for a negative person, because you are so positive, initially it will be very off-putting. And if the negative person is not willing to change, then sometimes it is best to actually be off-putted also, so that your positivity stays strong. Like I said, that your vibration will attract the vibration that is, same frequency as yours. So if you are a very positive person, if you are speaking very positively, then a negative person will slowly just fade away from your arena, from your circle.
The last question we will take is from Brahma Sharma. Go ahead, Brahma.
Hello, good afternoon, Aparna. How are you?
Good afternoon, Brahma. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, Aparna. Aparna, there is a pertinent question which I had. One is affirmation, which you rightly said it has a positive impact. At the same time, all of us are working towards becoming a better human being or a more efficient person at our work, our profession. So if we take that kind of affirmation that, okay, we accept and approve exactly the way we are, is it not in contradiction to our focus and eternal, effort of a human being to prove yourself? If we also say at the same time that we accept the way we are, so where do we strike the balance? Is there a connect? I have not read the book, you have read it, so can you put us wise on that part?
Yeah. So like someone asked earlier as well, that, if I accept myself exactly as I am, then do I need to improve myself at all? Now, if you enjoy doing something, if you really like, for example, singing or playing the guitar, and you accept the level at which you are, which may be a basic level, would you want to actually improve your level and become a better guitar player or a better singer? I'm asking you, would you want to?
Yeah, everybody like to become better. Yeah,
You would
sure.
want to become, yeah. But if you did not accept the level that which you were at also, which was the beginner level, then what would happen to your playing the guitar? You were trying to get better. What will happen?
It may be difficult thing to progress from there. Yeah.
Difficult. It'll be a pushing against a wall, because now the load of expectation is on you, and it will be so much more difficult to actually, any mistake, you'll sort of beat yourself up. And then getting that motivation up back again to learn even further will be even more difficult. So I should get better versus I really want to get better. Because I'm really good, but I want to get better. Which is an easier place to be in?
Yeah, I am at this place, and I can really get better.
Exactly. So when I say I love and approve of myself exactly as I am, I'm not saying I'm the best at everything. I'm just accepting myself at the place that I am, and I can try and get better.
Excellent. But as always, we have more questions, and I apologize if we have not been able to get to your question, but unfortunately, we are out of time. This webinar has been streamed live. It will be available on the Sipping Thoughts YouTube page. It will be available on our Facebook page if you would like to go back and watch it. But before we sign off for the evening, anything, Aparna, one last tip that you would like to leave us with?
I would say just go to the mirror and keep practicing. Just keep saying I love and accept myself exactly as I am. It can work wonders in your life. It's like a life-changing drug, which I have seen many people adopt and change their lives. So that's all I would actually request you to do.
So with gratitude
so much.
today, Aparna, thank you. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for sharing this invaluable lessons with us. And with that, I bid everybody a good night. And please remember, I love and I accept myself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sukirti, and the Sipping Thoughts team, and all the participants.